Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, magnificent, wonderful individual personality, you. Today, I would like to speak about inner self validation. And of course, self validation comes from inner moral stability. That means from your inner world, from your thinking, feeling, and will, you more or less stay away from actions, thoughts, and feelings that feels degrading to the human decency. It is all about holding oneself responsible in one's own inner being. And by doing so, you, are allowed to validate yourself because you stick to the practice. You hold yourself to a standard. Of course, by no means do well, we are not perfect, as we said. So we do have breaks, we do have ups and downs, side to side, back and forth. And it is all about being able to handle any of the different, turbulences and turmoils that might occur in life, but also take the good, the true, and the beautiful with dignity and with decency. So, we do this not to be validated by others. We do this not to be accepted and by please accept me, please see what I can do. No. That is the least of our worries. If we were to care about that, how could we introduce new impulses to this world without getting in the way of bias, without bias getting in the way? It is all about truly finding what is universally human in every individual. Then, thereafter, cultivate what is needed in this world today in relation to what we can observe is missing or, is about to be built up based on observatory skills, really. And also having a certain sense for esoteric truths and insights. That is kind of the most important thing. You need to have the right concepts. We need to know where we are going. We need to study and find out what kind of direction we are meant to go. And that we find through practice, through dedication to the cause, to humanity, to one's own inner mastery, to one's own life, but also to others' life when necessary. The flexibility is a must. It is a requirement, truly, to be as flexible as a cloud would be, but just in a physical form. You see, this physical form will, over incarnations, change into the flexibility we are in our own inner soul spiritual being. We will become soul spiritual. But for now, we need to work and prepare and to dedicate ourselves to spiritualizing what can be spiritualized in the physical realm. And that means our behaviors, our own inner being, our thought, feelings, and will, our physical, etheric, astral. With our ego, we purify all of these over incarnations. And that is what I meant in my last video about polishing what we can polish in this incarnation. We cannot go beyond what we can take in as seed forms, You cannot take in something that is not there. So it has to be taken in as a reality, as what forces are behind, That is self-evident through their effects. That is how we find out how we operate. But we need to monitor and observe ourselves to find out who we are as human beings, as individuals, but also as, humanity in itself. So how can we be helpful? How can we be, dedicated to the divine cause, to God? And also, when you try to, impress the Lord, it is a very, very, very different from trying to impress an individual human being. It is utterly different. It is all about holding oneself to not an impossible standard, but to the highest standard possible and strive towards it. Even if one is a little clumsy in the start, even if one, if one just suddenly fall over one's own two left legs and You know, being a clumsy, it looks foolish in the beginning, but that is what it is. You need to start somewhere. And being afraid to start just because you look silly, I think that I think that sentence speaks for itself, right? With insecurity. It is all about that validation. That validation for yourself. Because you know you are a human being with dignity. It is all about holding to that. And as I said, we make mistakes, but rarely do we make earth-shattering, earth-destroying choices. It is all about not taking the worst case scenario and living by that paranoia, but truly taking the hope and the faith, but also knowing that it is possible to go a dark road. Having that as an open possibility through erring from the path. It is all about finding what erring means, what brings in illness, and what it means to follow the path, what brings in health, what brings in inner stability and joy. For me it is the God. For me it is God. Everything is God. You are the essence of God. You are created by the Lord, and hence you are part of the Lord. But you are not, just as we say, we are part of the ocean. We are a drop in the ocean, but we are not equal to the ocean. You see, we are made of the same substance as the ocean. We are meant to become more and more as the ocean, but also as an individual at the same time. We are not meant to lose ourselves in any kind of mass or any kind of haze or just disappearing into the all. We are meant to cultivate our individual personality so that it can become higher and higher and higher, so that we reach the higher hierarchy through our inner I-ness, also capital I-ness. That we are meant to purify and strengthen, so that out of your I-ness comes love, out of your I-ness comes divinity, out of your I-ness comes the essence of the Lord. But it requires to unfold the seed. We are given every tool, every impulses, every principle that can be given from the higher realms for us to develop, but we must choose to develop in freedom. That is what we are cultivating today. Through this freedom, we have been given independence, we have been given individuality. But we also lost the connection to the all, to the spiritual world. Because in the earlier times, the connection and the perception of the spiritual world was a matter of course. Because of it, we could not stray out of it and be free. We followed the divine's principles without question, because it was so strong in us. That had to be lost so we could become individual. Now we are meant to connect into that again as individuals. You see? We are meant to lift the individuality up to a certain spiritual stage through dedication and love, compassion. And that we do through meditation, becoming conscious, aware, awake in the moment, practicing focus, and also using your imagination in an active, pure way. You use your thinking faculty in a living, awake, and shaping way. And that is where you also are guided in a variation of things if you ask for the assistance of it, of course. They will give you insights. They give you insights. You just have to, in humility and beyond yourself, ask them for help. Can your pride handle it? That is often the problem here. So, it is all about knowing that there is but one hierarchy. We all human beings are equal in God's eyes, but there is but one hierarchy above us, and that is the divine hierarchy. That is the only hierarchy that is above me. You are not above me, I am not above you. We are equal. even if you are completely and utterly different from me, in another culture, you're equal to me. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But actions have a lot to say too. It brings about both opinions and, well, certain forces that affect people. So it is all about sticking to the true, the good, and the beautiful. Because it is worth it, and it is joyous to do so. It shouldn't be a hassle to be good. But it is. It seriously is difficult to be good. Try it. Try to be good. Try to be good for a few months. It is difficult, but it is worth it. Because why should we do as everyone else does? Just because everyone else does it. Does that feel like strength? Does that feel like inner will? Does that feel like force? It feels like you are slave and chained to the opinions and observations of others. When the insights is not really there, they don't have all the information required. None of us do. And because of it, if we have something that we need to fill in as a insight or something, but we do not know it, we often fill it with something degrading. So, instead of filling it with something degrading, better have the benefit of the doubt, right? Better having the hope, but at the same time being open to it might go bad. It is that middle point. It is so that you feel joy if it is successful, but you also are prepared if it does not go successfully. You have prepared yourself for that, just in case. But it is not where you stand as a standard that is going to happen. That is paranoia. But you have it open as every possibilities, as an objective, open state of being, in a sense. Of course, there are many ways of doing things and trying to, well, orient ourselves in life. But it is all about being curious and experimenting and experiencing with our being, who we are. But safely, steadily, consistently, and not forcing anything. It cannot be forced. It will be given over time, over dedication. So the more you do it, the more consistent you are. Over periods of time, the higher realms will give you a little bit, until you perceive that, okay, now I have gotten this far. When you have become conscious of that, that is a joy, seriously. That is really something, whoa. It has actually paid off. It has been, progress has been made. And that is what I will leave you with today. May Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, ancient masters of old, ancestors from every incarnation, the Godhead, Seraphim, Cherubim, thrones, Kyriodities, Dynamis, Exousiae, Archai, archangels and angels, bless, protect, guide, and love you on your amazing, beautiful, unique, individual path that is also united with the humanity. And may you be provided for with all that you need to survive, live and thrive, and be creative and inspirational to others, so others also can follow and do the same, so we can snowball effect out, spreading out and building a future that is strong, sturdy, and good, beautiful and loving, compassionate, understanding, disciplined. So, thank you, love you, goodbye.